I am Officer Rebecca Alice, badge number 84627, and this is my first encounter with whom we later called the puppeteer. I arrived at the scene, my heart pounding with a mix of anticipation and dread. The dim glow of the streetlights illuminated the eerie tableau before me. The victim lay lifeless, their limbs bound by sinister strings. It was as if they had been transformed into a puppet, manipulated by the hands of a sadistic killer. My mind raced, trying to comprehend the twisted mind behind this macabre display. Who would orchestrate such a horrifying act, reducing a human being to a mere marionette in their deranged game? I approached the body cautiously, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. The strings seemed to pulsate with an otherworldly energy, as if they still held the power to control the lifeless form before me. With gloved hands, I carefully examined the intricate knots that held the victim's limbs in place. The precision and artistry were chilling, indicating a meticulous planning and execution. But what motive could possibly drive someone to commit such a heinous act? As I surveyed the scene, a cold realization washed over me. The killer was cunning, leaving no trace of their presence. It was as if they knew the dance of shadows intimately, slipping away into the night undetected, their identity shrouded in darkness. I took a step back, the weight of the unsolved case settling heavily on my shoulders. Each new lead led to a dead end, every suspect proved innocent. The strings that bound the victim seemed to mock me, a reminder of my failure to bring justice to the deceased. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but the case grew colder with each passing day. The city whispered in hushed tones, haunted by the lingering presence of a killer who remained at large. Fear gripped the hearts of its inhabitants, casting a long shadow over the once vibrant streets. I devoted countless hours to the investigation, poring over files, connecting dots that seemed to lead nowhere. But the puppeteer always managed to elude my grasp, leaving only a trail of victims in their wake. Frustration gnawed at my soul as the city's hope waned. The puppeteer had become a phantom, a specter that haunted my dreams and taunted my waking hours. Sleep became an elusive luxury, haunted by visions of lifeless bodies, forever entangled in the sinister web of strings. As time wore on, the puppeteer's presence faded, like a ghost vanishing into the mist. The case grew cold, relegated to the archives of unsolved mysteries. Yet, the memory of those bound by strings still lingered, etched into the collective consciousness of the city. Now, I find myself haunted by the echoes of the puppeteer's game. The unanswered questions, the unfulfilled justice, they gnaw at my soul. The victims' families cry out for closure, but the puppeteer remains a phantom, slipping through the cracks of reality. I am left to grapple with the weight of the unsolved case, forever haunted by the image of those lifeless bodies, mere puppets in the hands of a sadistic master. The strings that bound them were cut, but the scars they left behind run deep. And so, the story ends, with the puppeteer's identity forever shrouded in mystery. The strings that once controlled their victims now hang in the empty void, a symbol of the power they held over the lives they extinguished. Officer Michael Brooks had been patrolling the small town for years, but nothing could have prepared him for what he would encounter on that fateful night. It was a moonless evening as he drove alone through the dense forest, his headlights cutting through the pitch-black darkness. As he cruised along the winding road, an eerie silence engulfed the forest. The towering trees loomed like spectral sentinels, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. An unsettling feeling settled in Michael's gut, but he dismissed it as a product of his overactive imagination. Suddenly, the radio crackled to life, startling him. A static-filled voice echoed through the speakers, barely audible. Officer Brooks, be careful." The transmission abruptly cut off, leaving behind a disconcerting silence. Unease gripped Michael, and a chill ran down his spine. He instinctively tightened his grip on the steering wheel, scanning his surroundings for any signs of danger. But there was nothing out of the ordinary, just the impenetrable darkness of the forest. As he continued his drive, his headlights caught a flicker of movement in the distance. He slowed down, squinting his eyes to get a better look. A figure emerged from the shadows, a disheveled woman, stumbling aimlessly along the side of the road. Michael's instincts kicked in, and he pulled over to offer assistance. As he approached the woman, he noticed her vacant stare and pale complexion. Her lips quivered, but no words escaped her trembling mouth. Something about her sent a shiver down his spine, yet he felt compelled to help.
"Ma'am, are you okay? Do you need any help?"
Michael asked, his voice filled with genuine concern. But the woman only stared at him with hollow eyes, her silence stretching into an unsettling pause. Suddenly, she lunged forward, her movements unnatural and inhuman. Michael stumbled back, his heart pounding with terror. The woman's face contorted into a grotesque grin, revealing rows of sharp, jagged teeth. Her body twisted and convulsed, as if controlled by an unseen force. Panic consumed Michael as he realized he was face to face with something beyond comprehension. In a desperate attempt to escape, Michael bolted back to his patrol car. He fumbled with the keys, his hands trembling uncontrollably. As he finally managed to start the engine, he glanced into the rearview mirror, and his blood ran cold. The woman, now distorted and inhuman, was standing right behind his car. Her body elongated, contorting in grotesque angles that defied the laws of nature. Her eyes burned with an otherworldly intensity, fixing him with a malevolent gaze. With a surge of adrenaline, Michael sped off, his tires screeching against the asphalt. The nightmarish creature chased after him, moving with an unnerving speed that defied logic. Panic and terror clouded his thoughts as he desperately tried to outpace his pursuer. Minutes turned into an eternity as Michael raced through the forest, his mind consumed by fear. Just when he thought he could escape, the creature's distorted form materialized in front of him, blocking his path. He slammed on the brakes, but it was too late. The car collided with the grotesque entity, enveloping Michael in a world of darkness. When the authorities found the abandoned patrol car the next morning, Officer Michael Brooks was nowhere to be found. The forest held its secrets, refusing to divulge the fate that had befallen him. Some say he encountered a malevolent spirit, forever lost in the depths of that accursed forest. To this day, locals avoid that stretch of road, and whispers of the officer's chilling encounter echo through the town. The haunting memory of that night lingers, a grim reminder of the horrors that can lurk within the shadows. Officer Alex Price ventured deeper into the remote woodland area, following the faint glow of torchlight that flickered amidst the trees. The hairs on the back of his neck prickled with unease as he approached the edge of the clearing where the cultists had gathered. Their ominous chants grew louder, resonating in his ears like a sinister melody. Heart pounding, Alex cautiously stepped forward, his flashlight illuminating the grotesque scene before him. Cloaked figures, their faces obscured, encircled a central figure at the center of a twisted symbol etched into the ground. Without warning, the cultists turned toward him, their collective gaze filled with malice and madness. A primal fear gripped Alex's chest, but he stood his ground, knowing he had to stop whatever malevolent act they were about to commit. But the cultists had no intention of allowing their dark ceremony to be interrupted. They lunged at Alex, their movements frenzied and relentless. The officer fought back with all his strength, his training kicking in as he unleashed a barrage of punches and kicks. Blows rained down upon him from all directions, but Alex refused to yield. He pushed through the pain, his determination fueled by a primal instinct to survive. Yet, despite his valiant efforts, the sheer number of assailants overwhelmed him. As darkness encroached on his vision and his strength waned, Alex's last conscious thought was of his fellow officers, desperately hoping that they would arrive in time to save him. When backup finally arrived, they found themselves in a scene of chaos. The clearing was empty, devoid of any sign of the cultists. Only Officer Alex Price's patrol car stood as a lonely sentinel, abandoned and eerily still. Confusion mingled with concern as the officers scoured the area, searching for any trace of their missing comrade. But all they found were the haunting echoes of a violent confrontation and the lingering presence of an unsolved mystery. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation into Alex's disappearance reached a frustrating impasse. The case file grew thicker with each passing day, filled with theories, dead ends, and unanswered questions. The cult seemed to have vanished without a trace, leaving no clues to their identities or motives. The memory of that fateful night haunted the officers who had witnessed the aftermath. They replayed the events in their minds, desperately seeking answers that remained just out of reach. But the truth, it seemed, was buried deep within the shadows of that remote woodland area. To this day, Officer Alex Price's fate remains a chilling mystery. Some believe he fell victim to the cult, his body hidden away in some undiscovered grave. Others speculate that he managed to escape, forever scarred by the horrors he witnessed. But the truth, if it exists at all, remains elusive, locked away in the cold embrace of the night. And as the years pass, the memory of Officer Alex Price's disappearance serves as a stark reminder that some secrets are destined to remain buried, forever lost in the enigmatic abyss of the unknown. Hey, guys, I hope you liked the stories, and if you are not scared enough yet, click on one of these videos.